Did you put music on?
Yeah. Oh, this one's called Into Space. Ooh.
Oh, I like that one. Oh,
That's pretty good. That's good. Let's do this one. I mean, we're live already, but...
Can they hear us as well?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Good.
Yeah, it's super professional sounding.
Yeah, I was just talking over the... this is like live outtakes.
Yeah, this is what it's like to do a show together.
Yeah, this is what happens.
It's super normal to have this happening. The question is, how long is this like a 3-minute long thing? Like, how long are we going to do it until like, it's like, oh,
I think until the music like stops.
Okay, so is this a good time to tell you that I put it on a loop? And that it might never stop?
Oh, that it won't, okay. I mean, we can probably just do it now.
Ah!
Surprise! Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome. Welcome to our live show.
Welcome to the first ever live Captain Pod show. Thank you for jumping in. Ambassador is in control of the bridge today. I
am totally in control, which is surprising. So when the actual show releases in your podcast player, you'll hear about how I probably shouldn't have been given power because I've been booted, but you'll hear that stuff in the actual episode.
No, you didn't get booted. You were given
I got booted. You booted me.
No, you were given extra responsibilities. That's what technically happened.
Whatever. Yes, Slab, you were first.
That is what counts.
I'm gonna go through all these and just like put everybody up here because we've got some really fun people joining us on both Twitch and on CSPN. So thank you for being here.
Yes.
Yeah, live streaming.
You're gonna see most of the show, most of the chaos that happens, and there is like a different element to live streaming as opposed to just recording because we have to be like kind of more straight-faced.
Yeah, so we probably should just like start our live experience saying hi, checking in, seeing how you guys are doing, and then we have to get into actually reviewing the content that we're here to talk about for the actual show.
So no distracting messages. Actually,
this is going to be so distracting. You don't like...
No, I'm going to block it out. I'm going to completely block it out. It's going to be like we're playing a game of Star Trek D&D, and I'm just going to be in character and focused.
Okay, a couple of things. First of all, look at how our microphones are lined up, where it looks like my microphone goes into your microphone.
That's amazing.
That's freaking me out a little.
That's amazing.
Isn't that? It's kind of crazy.
That's really, if I like positioned it a bit differently, like.
Oh yeah.
Line it up exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hold on.
Oh! That's so weird.
We're bridging the distance between us through the microphones. Like our ability to connect is actually through the microphone.
On that side of your wall, and actually on the outside of your house, I've built an attachment that's docked with the side of your office.
Oh, it's crazy. Okay, we have a couple things that I want to get to super fast. I want you to answer the question about stormtroopers, but mentioned in the chat is that your mic is a little bit quieter than my mic, and that might be because when I redid my setup, I think my microphone amped up a little bit. So I don't know if you want to try to turn your mic up a little bit and we'll do a mic check.
I'm going to amp up mine, which is going to be great, fun to edit. But how does that sound, people in the chat?
We'll let them hear that. Yeah. Okay. And then while people are listening to that and giving some feedback.
So yes, they are Andorian antennas that I got from Destination Star Trek last year. They had like a whole stand filled with Andorian stuff.
So it wasn't that those look like legs to me, by the way. They look like somebody who's doing yoga, and sometimes like people wear yoga pants that come down over the heel, and it looks like someone's just legs just sticking out the top of your head.
Yeah, but no, it's difficult to display antenna. So it was either on top of the Stormtrooper or on top of Iron Man, and putting it on top of Iron Man would have been ridiculous.
Wait, why? Ian's response is just to shrug his shoulders and be like, what a question to ask.
Yeah, don't question stuff like that. Just let it happen. Let it happen.
I'm glad you guys are here with us. Thank you for being with us. This is the first time that we're putting our podcast content for CinemaSins up live for everyone to experience, whether you're on Twitch or on YouTube. So we are excited to chat with you. We will be doing our actual podcast episode recording, so we won't be able to respond to the chat because we're recording a podcast live. Which
wait, what?
But towards the end, I think we'll come back and we'll chat with you guys kind of after we do Resistance, I think.
Yeah,
or predictions.
Your questions may even end up into the show as we talk what you thought of the episode
yes,
as well.
One never knows.
We want to know what you guys think of Lower Decks as well. But Slab, so Slab is
sorry.
The ambassador. This is why I locked you out.
You didn't lock me out. I have credentials. I have credentials. God, fuck.
Dang it. I thought they were expired. Cool. Ian, I might get Baby Slab to help me assemble an enterprise model. The answer is always yes. Do it. Have a favorite one of yours to show off real quick while she's watching. My favorite is always going to be the Enterprise E because I have that inked upon my body. But my favorite model is the Enterprise B.
I'm lining up our microphones again.
Stop it.
It's just so freaky.
There is just something about this ship that is so pretty. Like, it's just like all lines and angles. It's so cool.
Isn't that every ship?
Well, I guess
I'm
everything
just asking.
in the world is lines and angles. But this is like super angular. And they just put so much effort into a design that was only in one film. Like, it only appears in Generations, to my knowledge. And it is just so pretty. So yeah, that is my favorite model ship, without a doubt. I love it.
Chris Patkinson says, if they're all the Enterprise, aren't they all the same?
I mean, how do you... Can one of the mods please ban Chris?
Oh, shit.
What do you mean they're all the same? That's no.
But listen, he is a mod already, so that's just not going to happen. But we haven't... Can I show you guys Ian's ship?
No.
Okay.
No. Yes,
okay. Well, no. We'll save that for next episode.
If we maybe the season finale. This is
season finale. Season finale. Mm-hmm. I will show you Ian's Derpa prize.
No, not the Derpa prize. It's great. Oh, whoops, that's awkward. I am a mod.
I know. That's what I told you. I was like, he's a mod already.
And yourself.
Hi Dicer, it's good to see you. Ian, what I'm gonna do, see now that Aaron's here, I'm gonna call you guys different things.
Nope.
I'm gonna star and pin comments that you might want to look at, so that way you can go. Yeah, so look over in the chat and you'll see the one from Zinc Stout.
Oh, amazing.
So you can click on that one and talk about it, so that way.
Oh, amazing. Love it. Watched all of Prodigy after your interview. You've watched all of it already? Amazing. It is not a huge time investment. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. It's so fun, isn't it? And that holodeck episode is incredible. In fact, that is going to be the first one that me and Deneé watch at some point with the whole cast of previous characters in it. It's so good. So fun.
TV Sins is in the house. No Trek is without sin. Let's go.
No.
An actual official channel is hanging out with us. You know, I like to think it's actually Cine himself.
Well, I have questions for Cine. Why haven't you seen more Star Trek?
Okay. Let's just calm down. This isn't the cat game. No, our Twitch channel is going to be for all kinds of streamable things from the CinemaSins family. So we will be playing games, and then we're also going to be going live for our podcast because there's lots of things. In fact, I've thought about just showing everybody how to make a D&D map sometimes using some of the resources I have, just like hanging out.
A little bit of D&D therapy, you might say.
It's just like a space for the CinemaSins staff to just hang out with you guys. So,
hello, Halo. That's all. That's all I wanted to say. Nick Jagged. Yeah, I really want to go and see Khan. I'm hoping I can catch it in the theaters when I pop over to the States tomorrow. I'm hoping it's still there. But it's really cute. I would love Picard and Janeway to be in the movie, but that's just not going to happen.
A couple of things. So thank you, It Don't Connect, for helping us with this. So if your mic is still kind of quiet, and I might be getting a message about our mic stuff. Let's see.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it up a smidge more and see how that is.
You can do that inside StreamYard too.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to try that. So mine is at 97 on StreamYard. So if you go into settings and audio, you can find it there. Thank you guys for your feedback. We want you to be able to hear us talking because that's why you're here.
Yeah.
And then there was a question earlier. I think I missed it. Let me go back. See if I can grab it. Oh, this one's from Jagged. So are we talking episodes 1 and 2 or just 2? Today's episode is just episode 2. Episode 1 is going to be dropping this week. So you'll be able to hear our thoughts on season 3, episode 1. But technically we've already recorded that one. It's been edited and it's going through the last parts of production right now. And then today is our recording day for the next episode, which will release pretty quickly. So we're getting kind of into a new rhythm for recording. So you're going to be able to catch our thoughts on Monday after the episode releases the day previous, and then it'll hit the podcast feed a few days later.
Yeah.
I hope that helps.
This episode will come out a little bit sooner so that next week we're all up to date. So the guys, everyone watching us stream live won't be an episode behind on the podcast. You'll all be up to date.
Deneé is pro streamer. I am pro streamer. I'm not a pro streamer. But I might know like technically a few more things than
just one or two more things
Ian,
than the captain
specifically.
The entire chat is looking to get itself banned today. Quickie and go shave. No.
Oh,
what are you doing?
This reminds me. Okay. So as our Twitch channel grows and as more people join and hang out, we're going to have to do things like create like channel point redemptions and stuff. Would you consider a channel point redemption for shaving your beard?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would not.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. It'll be high because I love my beard, but it'll grow back. Like it would have to be a lot of points because I've had to grow this
so stupid
out to trim it back down.
Yeah, okay. So maybe you could do a beard trim instead of a beard shave.
No, I'll shave it off. I'll do like a cutthroat razor complete shave.
Are you fucking crazy? That's so stupid. That's stupid.
We're talking about a lot of points. It would be a lot of points. It would not be like almost unattainable levels of points.
Okay, so now I feel like your mic is blasting out a bit. Can you check on your audio recording? Make sure your recording isn't blasting? And just speak.
The audio is fine.
450,000 points to shave. That would be about it.
Yeah, okay, I'll do it.
No, God, that's crazy. What are you talking about?
These things, if like
I don't know. I'm sorry. It's a visceral reaction. I can't imagine putting the work in to grow a beard, and then just be like, it's gone.
Hashtag save the beard. Yeah.
So do we do like a point thing where like people are like putting their points in to shave, and then other people are putting their points in to keep it on, and it's just this constant battle of points? Like, how do we do that?
I mean, we could.
Hi, Eights.
We could absolutely do different styles of beard. So a certain amount of points for like a goatee or like a handlebar or like the mutton chops. And then whatever. I love that the two people I picked out are both mods.
Yes.
Amazing.
You're such a butt.
That's the worst.
Such a butt.
At the same time.
1 million points. Is that right?
1 million points for a Gandalf beard.
For the Gandalf. God, that's a long. Like it would take you a long time to do that one.
It would take me a million days to do that.
The Riker. Fuck yeah. That I'm with.
I had the Riker for a long time, but it goes a little bit. I don't quite have his square jaw, so mine kind of goes a little bit too low.
I can't turn his mic down, but I think he needs to turn it up in StreamYard, is my guess.
No, I did. That's what I did, but I may have turned it back down too low now. So,
what's your number on StreamYard?
I am at 115 now.
Okay.
So let's see how that goes.
All right. Well, we're going to get the show started. Do you want to address any of the other starred questions before we jump into the show?
I had the beard since I was 21, but it wasn't quite a beard until I was like 23, 24. It was like a lot more linty and fluffy. Until
Did you say linty?
Yes, I did. So I've had the beard for like 10 years. Yeah. 10 years.
Linty?
On and off. Yeah. a linty beard. It didn't quite have the coverage that it does now.
Wouldn't that be sparse or like a spotted beard? Like what's like linty is like
fluffy
laundry.
Yeah, like the like lint, like the dust and stuff. It's like that. It was fluffy. It wasn't like it didn't have the same thick coverage that it does now.
Because that's how beards work.
It is. Says the person that's never grown a beard.
I'm sorry. I'm fascinated. I've never had a friend with a beard. Well, that's not true.
Not? Oh, Aaron, quick. Aaron's just like, I am right here.
I mean, a permanent beard. I mean, like that's the fixture. Aaron, he's like all about shaving it off. Also, when you laugh loud, when I hear it, it does sound blasted. So I'm really curious about your mic situation. But today, I think it'll be fine. As long as your recording is good, then we should be fine.
Yeah, I usually do work in the recording afterwards. So we will see. I will try and keep to a steady level. But with that, I think we actually need to get into doing some Star Trek reviewing.
Yes. Let me clear out these questions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to star any of the things that you guys say during the show that might relate to something we can talk about later. But we are still kind of figuring out how to do a fun live show with you guys too. So we hope you're enjoying it. This will be something that we just continue to figure out as we go. But we do have to record an actual show.
We do. We do actually have to record an actual show. But just to clarify, I do clean my beard. Yes, I do. There is a whole routine.
I thought we're done beard talking conversation.
Even that Kazina starting to blow out. Okay, fine. Yeah, I think you're right.
You are blowing out. But I don't know if it's because of your mic that you're turning here or if it's because I think when you turn your mic up, your actual mic, it might have started blasting. But if it's not showing up in your recording, I don't know. We'll see.
No, the recording's fine, but I've done both now. So I've turned that down and turned StreamYard up, so that might be better. Okay, we will figure it out. Thank you for bearing with us, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes, I think I'm ready. Hold on a second. I got an idea. While you do it, I'm gonna put the picture on while you do it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Give me a picture. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab a drink from the Replicant and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched together. Most important question first, Ambassador. What is your beverage of choice?
I would like to try to drink Mariner Sweat.
Oh, is season 5 just the season of grossing me out?
Season of grossness. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, was that or like boing boing blormismans?
Blood?
He was drinking something in Ted Forward this episode. Maybe I could go with that.
I mean, so with Mariner's Sweat, is it off her body or are you putting it into a receptacle of some sort? Are you collecting it?
Well, now that you said that and I have options, let's go with receptacle. Just to be.
You're just getting a little pipette that's like absorbing the sweat and then dripping it into it. Oh, you're the grossest.
I was trying to think of like what we saw this episode, and there was definitely drinks and blood in 10 Forward. I guess I could have done that.
Blood wine. Well, I'm going to have some blood wine to go with the. I mean, as long as the bar owner doesn't decide to rip off my arm and beat me to death with it, I'm going to go with blood wine. Okay, this week we are talking about season 3, episode 2 of Star Trek Lower Decks, the least dangerous game, and we find ourselves with the crew of the Cerritos, the Lower Decks crew, enjoying a relaxing game of Star Trek D&D with Martok.
Wow, what was that?
That was a lot, sorry. I got very excited. We both did. Eventually, Boimler decides to rip off the plot from Yes Man, which is a movie where a negative person decides to say yes to everything, which leads to slightly more danger than Boimler anticipated. In the meantime, Beckett Mariner is continuing her training with Commander Ransom, who has decided... Ransom, that's his name, Commander Ransom.
Jeez.
Jack Ransom.
No.
Yep. Well,
no.
Yeah, that's his name.
No, I didn't know that. That is so... Okay. I'm all right down.
Amazing.
Jack
I
Ransom.
feel like somebody just tried to break into
Jackson.
my
Can I
office.
call it
Jack Ransom.
Jansom?
Ransom?
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. In the meantime, Beckett, Mariner, and Ransom try to fix a space elevator.
Lift.
But space.
What was
lift?
it called?
Yeah.
An interstellar lift. What was it called? God,
It's like an interspatial
lift. It was
propeller.
It was a thing. Know. They named it something specific, and then that was the joke. Not an elevator, exactly. Not an elevator.
Not an elevator.
No.
God damn it. Anyway, it's a gravity lift of some sort. And things go awry as Mariner fights against her urges to overrule Captain Jack.
Captain Jack, Ransom.
Whatever. Commander Ransom. With that.
Commander.
Deneé, what did you think of the episode? Overall thoughts and feelings. Did you have a good time?
Yes. This one was a little bit of a slower pace for me in general, which I think is good because I feel like based on our conversation earlier, I'm like, maybe these kind of episodes are needed where nothing like super out of the ordinary happens. All the twists and fun things like being hunted and what that meant, how the captain responded to being hunted, those might be like really surprising things for someone to watch. They weren't surprising for me, of course, because how else would this be happening on a spaceship, Yeah,
exactly.
People would be more concerned if it were real or whatever. And then there just didn't seem to be a lot so this episode has everybody like kind of in danger, like literally could lose their lives danger, but there's this casualness about it. And that was evident in the first episode we watched from season 1 as well, which I think is really fun. Because these people are like super highly trained. And so they're like, fuckometer is really messed up compared to my own.
Yeah, this should be worrying. Why is it not?
Yeah. So it's kind of strange to watch an episode like this where you're like, okay, so we've got, there's one plot where you've got some of the team that are going down to this, strange hippie free love, but also murderous colony.
It's the classic Star Trek alien race that is lovely and then goes wrong.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of playing onto its own. That makes sense.
It is referencing a specific episode that will.
Of course it is. Okay. So you've got like that happening, and you've got 2 members that are like in over their heads. It's pretty evident from the start, but there's also like this very genuine lack of concern about it. And so much so that when Handsome, I'm going to call him Handsome, when
that works.
He like is like, oh no, you're fine, go back in there. You're like, yeah, I guess that's also an option. And so there's this casualness to it where you don't really feel like things are in danger, and then you find out that there is danger. And this did both of those in both sides. So then like back on the ship, Boim's being hunted and then also is absolutely stabbed pretty badly at the end. And it kind of reminded me of the beginning of that very first season when his leg gets cut into by Mariner. So it definitely had all the notes of what I expect the show to be. And I did have a good time for sure.
We were treated to many, many, many Boimler screams in this episode.
We were.
It's so great. I'm quite happy for this episode because it was like a blood pressure soother. I didn't have to it wasn't quite as frenetic. There was a bit of slowing down and just enjoying things as they happen. And Lower Decks has a really great pace for going between these episodes that are hyperkinetic and hyperfrenetic, and then something that's a little bit more chilled that needs a little bit more character development. So there was a lot of character development here for Boimler, although I don't think anything will have changed. And when we go into the next episode, I think he'll still be the same. And Mariner fighting against her urge to overrule. Like what's more important to her? Proving everyone wrong that she doesn't have to rebel, or proving that she still wants to rebel? Like which one wins out? Because she always kind of has to stay true to herself. But
yeah, this one showed us a little bit more about like, again, what the season or what the show in general is doing with the character arcs. So clearly Boimler is working on him not being a stick in the mud, and Mariner is working on being more restrained. So, and that they come to the forefront. This episode is about the 2 of them for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I had a really good time. I don't mind that it was a slightly slower episode. But I really, really enjoyed it. There is still, man, this show just like never stops with the references. my very first note was just a screaming Martok, because the Klingon that is running the D&D game is Chancellor Martok, who is a huge character in Deep Space Nine.
Oh, okay.
So he's just like a really badass warrior. He's so great. And my next note was that the game itself is a reference to it's like a few different Star Trek games. So there was one that specifically like used to have these games that you'd put a DVD or a VHS in, and they will talk along with you as you play through the game, and it will be pre-recorded and you have to pause it. And
it was clever.
It was really clever. But there's also specifically a Klingon PC game where you're getting initiated into like the Klingon Empire, and Galron, who also got a name check in this episode, is the person that's speaking directly to you in that game as well, and it's like, "Come with me for glory," and it's so great. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, "They're doing the PC game. It's so great."
Everybody finally gets to see your Ian Wiggles during the game. You've been hearing me talk about it. So this is what Ian looks like when he gets excited. He just starts dancing around. I knew there were references going on. They're over my head, but I was still able to enjoy that moment. Like it wasn't lost on me that there was obviously this character that people know somehow, and he's obviously like has time to integrate some kind of a game. It did make me ask the question, like, so we're in a season of this world where making a Klingon game isn't unacceptable or strange.
No, so and I have a huge sin about this game in general.
Okay,
we'll get to that in this instance. But like we're allies with the Klingons, so that's fine. But
right,
you would also think, do they mind? But also they did say that the Ferengi were marketing this game, so it might be that the Klingons don't approve of the game because the Ferengi have ripped this off. Like they're the ones that have put the recording together and are marketing the game. So right. I can imagine an episode where Martok kills a Ferengi and it's just like, don't use my name in vain.
It was really cool, that game. The idea that, so VHS recorded, everything is pretty like, it's just going to be very, very minimalistic. There's only a few options. But in this future, there would be so many recordings that they could pull from, and it's more interactive. Like you could kind of tell that the voice actor was making it like you chose da-da-da-da-da-da. Like there was kind of a little bit of a mechanical sound to shifting into like whatever scenario was had at the table. But it was really interesting because it seemed like that character was live with them and it wasn't pre-recorded most of the time, which was really fun to watch. And you kind of think that maybe it would be possible because in the future they have that technology.
Well, that feeds directly into my sin, which is for now as a preview, holograms. But we'll put a pin in that for for this instance.
Okay.
But yeah, JG Hertzler? I think it's Hertzler. Anyway, he's the chap that plays Martok, and his voice obviously he loaned his voice to the last season and to this season. He is all Martok. He loves it. He will go to conventions dressed as Martok. He is just the essential Klingon next to Worf as well. He's so great. So I love that, and merging that into D&D, which is one of our favorite loves. It's like,
oh my gosh,
this show just made for us? Like, is it specifically made for Ian and Deneé? And I get a million other Star Trek fans as well. Like, they know the overlap of their fan base really well.
100%. Yeah. That was a really fun way to open the game, open the show, the game. Well, that too. And I really enjoyed the character. So they're sitting around this table, and each of them is sort of cosplaying as well, which was really delightful to see. Oh, like Boim had the he had the little ridges. Dome, the Klingon dome for his forehead, and then just like this flowing dark hair that went over his hair that was clearly not fit very well. There's like plates of armor that they're putting on their person, and this episode starts with D&D and it ends with D&D, so they kind of like start with an adventure, then they go have their actual life adventures, and then they come back to the table to continue their D&D adventure, which it wasn't called D&D. Do you remember what it was actually called? It was something clever.
In a word. Yeah, I can't remember what it was called.
And so they're like so they're sitting back at the table and kind of putting their gear back on to get ready to finish this game, and they're sort of like not even recapping their day. Can you imagine if so D&D is this way, right? You have to leave and come back later because you can't finish a game in one sitting. Well, I mean, you can try, if it's a one shot and you've got a really dedicated group of people who stay focused, then maybe you're going to get done with it in one night.
It can happen.
But this had this moment for me where I was like, oh my gosh, I so am not these people. If I had just almost been thrown into a volcano, I wouldn't be sitting back at the table like ready to roll a D20. I'd be like, guys, can I tell you about this traumatic experience that just happened? I was almost killed today.
Just another day on the burrito. That's all it is.
William's all like, yeah, I've been skewered. And they're like, nerve damage. Ha ha. I roll a natural 20. It's just...
It's amazing. Yeah, I have permanent damage to my shoulder, but let's go play backlifts and bartenders or whatever it would be. So give me something else that you absolutely... Oh, sorry, the props and stuff that they were using, even that was a nod to cosplay at conventions, because there is this classic headpiece that you could buy that had all of like the hair on it, and it's basically they're all dressed as they would dress if they were going to a Star Trek convention.
Yes, it felt very convention, which is great. Yeah.
Give me something else you loved.
Let's see. What was so we transitioned pretty quickly into like their mission, and I didn't really enjoy the Mariner and Handsome back and forth like very much. But I did like the idea of changing things up and the engineers being like taken really far out of their element and put into a new, that was kind of a fun twist for me. And I was wondering when it was going to shift, and it didn't until death was imminent. So that was interesting. And I also kind of thought that Mariner was going to get caught when she decides to do the things that she did, like to try to like, she couldn't handle obeying orders any longer. And she went to go intervene and, you know, fix the situation herself, and then rectifies it and runs back up. And, you know, just the cleverness of like eventually hitting the rock climbing gear.
I love it.
That was so out of left field. Did not expect it. I really enjoyed that though, because it's just like, she's like, damn, this society that likes, you know, exercise. Just to think about, guys, you know, what'd be kind of fun is after all the stairs is to go ahead and just shift into rock climbing gear.
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't want to do this.
I didn't expect that.
Exhausted is so great. And I thought that was going to go a different direction as well. I thought that this was going to be... I should have known better, because Ransom has not been tipped as a hugely intelligent individual. So I had hoped that this was going to be the plan all along, and he was waiting for her to rebel and say, there are times where you need to rebel, and don't let my training squash that. But
doesn't seem
he just
so.
proved to be a dumbass the whole way through until he ex-machinas the situation at the end. So, and I don't know if we can really sin that, or if it's just in keeping with his character. Because to be fair, it's more on brand for his character to just be incompetent. But I do have issues with how he's the first officer on a starship.
Well, clearly he has some skills and some muscle tone, you know, that because he obviously was able to talk his way out of whatever the situation was, which I thought was another clever thing that the show did. So at the very end, when the engineers are struggling, they're in danger, and then he's like, yeah, we should go ahead and go on down there. He rips off his shirt, revealing his physique, which is very attractive to these people. And then he begins to negotiate with them about, and the show cuts away. It's like, but we're not going to show you this conversation because you've seen it. Yeah, you've seen the A-Team chats many, many times. Let's cut back over here. And that's refreshing. Although I am curious, he obviously has some set of skills with being able to do that, because he was able to negotiate all of their survival.
It's almost saying that like the stuff the A-Team does is like, we've seen it so much in the last 50 years of Star Trek, and it's almost like by the book and superficial. Like, there is a playbook for how you get through this. And the more interesting stuff is what the B team screws up. Right.
It's kind of like, so like they're you know, they're up like fixing pipes, and they're like, did you remember to do this, this, and this? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. And then they'll be like, hey, did you remember to do this, this, and this with your negotiations? It's like this, they all have a playbook that they're both struggling with figuring out.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I love it. So this, what I think this species is loosely based on, is an episode from
which species? Oh, the
planet that
the
loves
wellness
to hug and
species.
kiss people, the wellness people.
Yes, okay.
It's loosely based on an episode from TNG. I think it's just called Justice, and it's a pretty infamous episode because they go down there and everyone is basically dressed in one piece of like bandage that manages to cover all of the private parts, and they're all into massages and hugging and being affectionate. And the downside is that they have very strict laws in certain places and at certain times.
Okay.
And Wesley fucks up and tries to catch a ball and falls into basically a greenhouse and ruins some plants.
Okay, I mean, this isn't really that important to me personally, but it could be for someone else. And it's your accent. I need clarification. Are you saying ball or bowl?
A ball. A ball. As in a tennis ball.
Thank you, Captain.
There we go.
Cleared it right up. Thank you.
So Wesley falls into some herbs, a patch of herbs, and he royally fucks up because
I didn't know if it was a bowl like you eat out of a bowl.
Why is he catching a bowl?
I don't know. Why does any of this make sense? This is Star Trek. It could have been a sacred bowl. I don't know.
No, he catches a ball.
A ball.
A ball. A ball. And then falls down. But this one specific area is the crime zone for that day, and there's only one penalty, and it's death. So even though he just crushed some plants, he's being sentenced to death, and the Enterprise has to come and rescue him and whatnot. So it's loosely based on that situation.
I love it. Well, that's kind of fun.
Alien, where the nice species that seems too good to be true is, and there's always like some downside to them that makes them, oh, these are horrible people. This isn't the utopia we thought it was. They're bastards. Amazing. So yes, I liked that.
I also liked the so we were talking, I think last episode, about Boim Boim's like his scream, like his distinct scream that he has. Yeah. I like that this episode turned that into like a musical experience. There's this what I consider to be a delightful montage of Boim being like, yeah, I'm going to try out all these things. And so you kind of wonder what it's going to be. And with a show like this, you don't know where their top is. So it's starting off with basically come play racquetball, which I liked the racquetball because the sounds that it was making when the ball hit the panels were like super
so satisfying.
It was so satisfying because it was like it was like Enterprise. Like I know that sound from somewhere. That's a panel sound or something. Like
well, it's that sport has been seen in TNG, in Voyager, in Deep Space Nine. The rackets were exactly the same. The sound effects were the same. So it's that innate thing where you've seen this episode before. It would just be buried in your memory somewhere. It's so great.
Yeah, that was really fun. And then so it kind of goes like racquetball, and then his scream is what calls attention from the other kind of A guy, and he's like, "You should join this choir." And then it cuts to the choir where they're all in this, harmonious chord, and they're like all pouring their eye, they're crying. And then this person approaches for him to oil up and be an example for art or something, which, by the way, a little disappointed we didn't see that. Maybe I should write that down for a sin. We didn't actually see that.
If you're disappointed about that, there is a specific episode where you get to see everybody on the crew naked that we need to watch. So yeah, we'll save that for a future episode.
Can you just make note of that?
Yep, make a note of that. Deneé wants to see naked cartoons.
God, people are just, what do people think of me? I'm like, I want to see naked people. I want to drink Mariner's sweat. What the fuck am I? What is wrong with me?
You are either the next evolution or a massive throwback. I don't know which one.
I don't know what's going on with me. But to put his scream and like, it's almost like a wink and nod to the fans for the Boimler scream, which was really fun. I really thought that was really fun.
Absolutely.
And then of course it escalates into the hunt. Which there's this big looming
crunch
alien, in the background, and you're like, something's gonna happen with this guy, right? And then he ends up coming over, and of course, Boim's like, I'm gonna say yes to the next thing, no matter what. And his buddy is all, it doesn't have to be a thing. You don't have to make it a thing.
It doesn't have to be right now,
but it's a thing.
But it's a great chase through the ship. I love it so much. It's so great.
I think it was really fun and unexpected and kind of intense and fun and very Klingon-esque, which I enjoyed.
I was almost expecting a Klingon to be like Jake pulling his tooth
he
out.
Pulls his tooth out of all things, great. and then
it's one of those things about the show that like this could easily have been a Klingon, a Hirogen, or some species that's really famous for hunting. And this alien basically was a cross between those two species, but they still took the opportunity to design something new and just have some fun with it. So we're not going to be 100% callbacks all of the time. We're going to create our own new aliens as well, which I really, really love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really, really good fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the man that just points out the random references all day long. There was an excellent Bolian joke in this. Where
yes, I got that one.
Did you get that one?
Yeah, 100%.
I want to hear you talk about it.
Oh, okay. Shit. So there was this reference. About what part was it at, Ian? Just to make sure that
I'll remind you a little bit of it. You'll get it. This is near the beginning when Tendi comes out of the shower. And they're talking about this captain that has been promoted super quick.
Oh, yeah. Yes. That was a great reference to a ship that is has been referenced before. Nope. Yeah, it sure has. You just don't remember it.
Possible, but nope.
Sunflower ship. What was the name of that ship? Nope.
I can't remember.
God damn it. I need to write something down for predictions. So you go ahead. I've got something that just popped into my mind for predictions.
I'll take it from here. So there is a great joke where Boimler says that the captain that has been promoted very quickly has stacked his entire bridge crew with Bolians. And our immediate reaction to that is supposed to be, oh man, what a jerk, what an idiot. Bolians are the worst, because Bolians are kind of the butt of a lot of jokes. But Tendi then says, oh, wow, that's so great. That's such a smart idea. And Boimler is like, I agree. Isn't that awesome? And I immediately felt guilty because I was like, oh, no. Like, I was immediately thinking he's made a horrible mistake. And they're saying that Bolians are great. And
are you
they
racist?
Should be crewing the ship. And apparently I'm Star Trek racist. And that is such a subtle little joke that the writer absolutely knew.
Oops.
We were going to get super judgmental and be like, oh, fucking Bolians, and then just turned it on its head and was like, no, Bolians are cool, all right?
Well, I have a prediction about the Bolians for later, which is why I couldn't really go into that part.
Are you saying Bolians or Bolians?
Bowl, like that you eat out of.
Is it good? Nice. Amazing. I have to give a shout out to Boimler running out and saying crunch.
Why?
Well, because it's a Khan. It has to be a Khan reference. Like,
okay.
Whenever somebody screams a K name, it's going to be a rip-off of Khan. But I love how quickly he gets taken down to size. He's like, the prey becomes the hunter, and I will face you down. And he's just immediately nailed with a spear. It's like, that's not how this is going down, dude. You're not going to win this.
I really liked that part too. Like, while we're talking about things we enjoyed, the shift from hunter into him basically saying that he's a catch and release person and he respects life above all else. And you were excellent. He goes, you were excellent prey, but I do have some notes. And he just immediately is like, when you can't announce that you've turned into the hunter. You can't stand, you gotta stick and move, and the voice actor went from this really intensely deep, dark thing to like, kind of like he did with the captain. He's like hunting around in the ship, super creepy looking. And then he's like, hey, thanks again for the mimosas.
It's so great.
It was so fun. And they had this really great, like, kind of moment where the bad guy, the hunter, the pretend bad guy or whatever, he's like steps back in the shadows. He's like, the hunt is on. And then he kind of like there was just this great humor that they were evolving with this thing to tell us that we're not supposed to take it seriously, but also it's so scary. The guy was huge and so intimidating, and like Boim's like getting his motivation from this D&D game, and then he steps out and does all this stuff, and then it just shifts into this really wonderful gear, and then he passes out. The guy takes a selfie. It was just brilliant. I really had a good time with that.
So good. I love how they take advantage of the fact that injuries aren't a big deal. Like, dermal regeneration exists, so you can. It might well change how we perceive injuries and how we injure people. It's like, yes, I put a spear through your shoulder. but I know that you can easily be healed other than the nerve damage. So
Yeah.
it does kind of change your perspective of what we see as dangerous, perhaps.
It does, but there was a moment when Boing Boing came out of the room, geared up with a bowl on his head, ready to go to battle. God knows what he smeared on his face. Still confused about that. Maybe that should be a sin.
With a phaser rifle. Like, I really hope that was a fake phaser rifle.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I was going, he is going to eviscerate this guy.
He's going to vaporize him.
There's no coming back from that. I was actually worried that he was going to just full on kill this person.
At
that point,
incident.
Yep. I've got a couple more notes of things I really enjoyed. If you
go for it.
The dolphins. We get to the dolphins again. Yes.
Always.
And Boim jumps into the water, and they're like, "Don't come in here with dirty shoes on." You like. Which is
That's
just
so disrespectful.
So disrespectful.
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying that. Yeah.
The dolphins are great. Always.
Did you have anything else you wanted to mention? I think I have I'm checking my notes.
I love the overkill of it was how many different species, a societal cliches to stick into one species, where you've got the leader that's a geographical thing and a sentient computer and a psychic baby. And it's like Mariner is always the audience in this, just going like, wow, overkill? Do you not just want to use one of those? Because that's 4 different episodes of Star Trek all in one species. And just like Rick and Morty, they point it out and say, we know what we did here.
Yeah.
We know this is overkill. It's great.
It would be difficult to actually send the series because it's just delightfully self-aware.
Mariner this is excellent at TV scenes the entire episode. Just like, why have we left the engineers down there? This is not worth teaching me a lesson. This is such a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of the visuals I loved was when she's exhausted, and we both laughed at this.
Oh my god, yes, that's something.
And Ransom is just like, let's go, and Marilyn's just flopping unconscious.
She's like taking a quick power nap while she speeds down to the planet, and her arms are just flapping like noodles behind her.
It's so great.
And the sound effect is that flapping sound. It's so funny.
It's so funny. This has so many great sight gags and audio quirks in the show. I love it so much.
Yeah.
What else do you have?
So you mentioned the one about her jumping, which was definitely on mine. And then, there was this moment when at the very beginning of the episode, Boim's on his bed and still upset that he's not captain, and kind of right before the jump into saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cool that the sole of his shoe had another emblem on it.
Yes, it does.
It was so cool.
It's so cool.
I want those shoes. Imagine
I want
that.
The boots.
It's a theme for me. I just want to wear all things Star Trek.
All of the Star Trek clothing. I think I may have to start wearing my uniforms to the live stream just to make you jealous.
I won't be jealous of your uniforms.
What do you mean? What's that supposed to mean?
I just wanted you to prep yourself.
Oh, okay. That you're not going to be jealous. You're going to be happy for me?
Of course. I'll be very happy for you. You wear whatever you want. The stuff that I like is the Picard gear that nobody makes. And if they do, it's stupid expensive because they have to. Yeah.
Custom make it. Like that $500 jacket.
Exactly.
So
if you showed up with that Picard jacket, I would absolutely shit a brick and be super jealous.
Get on a plane and rip it off me.
I don't want to be jealous anymore. I'm already jealous of so many things that are happening with my. I'm like, you have that? I want that.
I want that, please. My last
work on it.
Was just the ending with Martok, where Boimler goes all in and goes up to the bar and demands blood. Why don't Martok is just like, the bartender rips off your arm and kills you with it. It is not an honorable death because you technically have died by your own hand. What? Jeez. Dying by your own hand, which is a Klingon thing.
I wrote that down.
Beaten to death with your own hand.
Oh my god. Great. You did not die an honorable death because technically you've died by your own hand. That's just clever writing. Very clever.
Writing. So clever. Love it. This is such a great outlet for a unique type of Star Trek writing that you're not going to get anywhere else.
I'm not going to do a good job in Resistance this week.
Neither am I. Resistance this season is going to be the shortest segment, but nevertheless, battle stations, everyone, it's over to engineering for Resistance is futile.
Oh, you know what we should do, Ian? We should load in our sounders here so we could actually play them live. Wouldn't that be fun?
Heck, we should absolutely do that. Yeah,
we can definitely do that.
We'll do that ready for next week. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Where's my script? There it is. This is the part of the show where we re-engage our sin brains, remind ourselves that no TV shows without sin, even our beloved Star Trek. Deneé, I don't think this is going to be very long, but over to you.
I didn't write anything down that I didn't mention already.
Amazing. Do you want to bounce off of what I've got?
Maybe I'll think of something. I mean, I could definitely try to dig into things like I find it hard to believe, like you said, that Handsome isn't recognizing that Rockstar Hotshot isn't rebelling. It just seems like that's a stretch for me that it's, I would have a hard time believing that would be possible. But I don't know Handsome's character very well. So if he's dumb, maybe it's just totally in character. That one was a little bit of a hard one to swallow. And another one that was maybe a little bit hard for me that I would kind of like possibly pick out a little bit is the on the nose bit of Boimler taking up the mantle of his carefulness is holding him back. So he kind of has this sort of like, I don't want to take risks. And then he doesn't take a risk in the D&D game. And it immediately, is like an example, and it's
bad trombone.
A little bit of a on the nose thing, but I also I think that there are some people that maybe haven't been paying attention to his character that need to know that. I guess I guess there's new watchers in season 3 like myself who are really unfamiliar with the character. I didn't know that he was always cautious. I can see him always being by the rules, obviously, but maybe I didn't know that he's someone who won't take risks sometimes until really this episode hit that hard for me. So I think maybe some of us might have needed that, but it was a little on the nose.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's definitely a kind of like a byproduct of having these 25-minute cartoon episodes where you can't always be super duper clever with it, and you have to kind of hit the nail on the head to get onto the next point and set up the episode. But yeah, it's definitely within his character to follow the rules, stick to the regulations, quote the regulations to everybody and not take risks, but then kind of just end up taking risks anyway. So there wasn't anything super new about that arc. Like we've seen Boimler break out of this inside of episodes, but it was definitely the B plot too. This was kind of 2 lots of B plot in one episode, which I didn't like have it's not really a bad thing. It's just nothing really took the lead. They were both like inconsequential. Everyone's kind of back to where they started at the beginning of the episode, but I still had a fun time getting there.
But at the same time, Boimler did have progression because suddenly he's standing out to the crew. Suddenly he has said yes and gotten attention and not negative attention, and that does maybe help him. I'm curious if they're gonna like do anything with that.
Lodex kind of leans into a 1 episode memory kind of thing, so we'll see what happens. I could always be wrong about that. We have got so my biggest sin of the entire episode is actually the board game, and
oh my god,
for me the problem is holograms. Like they in so many episodes, they have recreated people from history, actual living scientists, people in the Star Trek world, recreated them in holodecks using like personality profiles and stuff like that. And they'll get accurate to within 90% of, hey, if the real person was here, this is pretty much along the lines of what they would do.
Okay.
Why would you have to record anything? Just do a personality play of Martok.
I guess unless it's that Ferengi ripoff, right? Unless it's like
this is too good to be pre-recorded, but not good enough to be a hologram. So it's like it's somewhere like it's behind and ahead of the technology at the same time.
There are just some people that can't afford to use the best technology, Ian.
I am shaming people in the 21st century for not being able to.
They don't have it. They can't go all the way holodeck. They're in the in-between stages. Some people just don't have it. They're like indie gamers. This is an indie gamer company.
And so you're going to defend the Ferengi for ripping off the Klingon Empire and making a ton of profit off of the game?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. That one might end up being argumentative, but I do think that there's a sin there to be had.
Yeah. Well, that's the joy of sins is we can make them whatever we want. It doesn't have to actually make sense. If it makes you laugh, then that's the good stuff. Some of this stuff is like, I mean, that's the hope. The hope is that it makes you laugh. I like for that to that point, maybe I could sin that the spear to the heart doesn't kill him. Like
shoulder. It was to the shoulder.
That's where the heart is.
No, it was above the heart. It was up here. It was fine.
Yeah. I do want to know what that boomerang was going to do, though.
Kill him.
It was going to do something. Yeah, it seemed like it was a little OP, though, that boomerang.
Because it followed everywhere. Yeah, it was definitely OP. I do have an issue with the overall plot of what Ransom is doing. Just like, yeah, the engineers would do this better. You're right. Game over. Let's get the engineers in to do this better. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, the ego in there. It's like either Handsome is very intelligent and there's like a payoff later on about his character kind of knowing these things all along and sort of crafting these moments, or he's really shouldn't be in charge of anything ever. Because he put people in danger.
He really did.
What if they got there just in the nick of time? I guess we could do it just in the nick of time cliche for sure. But we could, like, those ropes could have easily, like, their hands could have slipped out. There's all kinds of ways that they wouldn't have been able to save them.
The timing is incredible because Ransom stops to go to the bathroom. Like, he's like, hold on, let's do this before we do this. We'll make it just in time. I was like, what do you mean if you hurry, you can make it in time? What are you basing that on? Like, they could be dead already. He does take the joke a bit too far for a real commander, like way, way, way too far. And what's even the lesson? Like, what is the lesson that they're learning here? So,
it's so annoying.
I think it does come back to Ransom just being a bit of a dick, but I still question how he's commander of a starship when he's that much of a incompetent fool.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else that I could say.
I mean, we've got a transporters not working cliche to set up the entire plot.
Do we?
Like, we need a space lift because the transporters don't work in the atmosphere. And I was like, Ding. 2 episodes back to back, transporters are fucking things up. Yeah.
You have to eliminate the transporters. That's how you do everything. I don't know. I think that's it.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I overall
it's hard. It's hard, guys. It's hard to sin this.
But it's a super duper fun episode. I love this show continuously.
I'm gonna have to get better at it. I'm gonna have to get better at our resistance section.
No, it's a perfect show. We're just gonna love on it even more.
Yeah, it's okay. This is a Star Trek companion podcast. We are Star Trek fans. It's hard for us to sin things sometimes, guys.
We don't have to do all of the sitting all of the time.
Maybe this is something that we could ask of our live audience. Now that we have a live audience for this portion of the show, is that if people have their own sins, they can put them and then we can read about them.
Yes, that's an excellent idea, and we'll do those towards the end. Love it. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you, everybody that joined us on Twitch, and thank you for everyone that joined us on the CSPN YouTube channel as well. We had a lovely chat before the show, and we're going to have a bit of a chat after the show as well. So if you can join us, please do 12 p.m. Monday Central Time. And...
Oh, I have one.
Okay, do it. Do it.
I do have a question before we go. Maybe this is a sin. I don't know.
Okay.
But before you go into the exit of the show and everything. Okay. There was a premise in the show that was all about like being early for something. It was kind of like this joke, like, Mariner, where are you? You need to be extra early, even though the meeting is in an hour. Yeah. And so Mariner goes to leave and she's like, Robot Boy, are you coming? And he's like, no, I'm going to be normal early, not like an extra early. I find this very sinful, and I think I would actually do a rant about it, because if you have a time to get there, that's when you get there. There are some things maybe you should arrive for early, but I am not an arrive early person, because the stress of that is insane.
Oh, 100%.
When is early? What's appropriately early? So I think I would send that for sure.
There is a misconception here that being early is good. Being early is also a sign of poor timekeeping as much as being late is, because it means that you've misjudged the journey when you're supposed to be there, what your timetable is, and you're wasting time by sitting around. So I am always of the Gandalf school of I arrive exactly when I intend to.
Precisely
I am never
when I
late
mean.
or early.
That's exactly right.
This was exactly when I was meant to be here.
I think it triggers something for me because, like, so let's say we're having a family function and we're like, lunch is at noon. I know that my family expects me to come early to hang out, to be present, to spend time with each other before lunch starts. But if it's an event out in the world and it's like, we'll see you at 12 o'clock at so-and-so, my expectation is that you're going to arrive at 12 o'clock. If you've arrived early, that's fine. Like, but don't expect me to be there until 12 o'clock.
You're going to be waiting in the car. Like, especially don't arrive at my house an hour early. Like, I'll just make you wait in the car. It's fine.
Exactly. Anyways, I would definitely, I would dig into that one for sure. Cause that one triggered me. Like,
because then you start like compensating as well. It's like, well, I know Deneé comes like on time to these things, so I'm going to set the time an hour early just for Deneé because I know when she's going to get here. I was like, no, just tell me the time it starts.
Tell me when you want me to arrive. I will arrive at that time, and I will keep you updated if for some reason something happens outside of my circumstances that I haven't allotted for. But I have done the calculations for my life, the traffic, potty time,
temporal anomalies, all of that stuff.
Transporters stopping.
Exactly. Well, with that ranty bombshell, thanks for listening, everyone. I am Ian Whittington, and I also do not enjoy sweaty muscle heads drilling balls into my face.
And I'm Deneé Hughes, and I can still taste their final screams.
Live long and Podspa. Oh, that was fun. Thanks for jumping in, chat. That was super duper.
We have, I think I highlighted some things here. I highlighted this one earlier. I took the girls to see Con, and Mia was asking about the letters and wanted to know why Picard and Janeway weren't in the movie. It's adorable. Did you read this one earlier?
Yeah, I did. I said that it's adorable that she wants Picard and Janeway in the film. It's so great.
This one's from R1 Ma 78, which I think is Rima. I bought Band of Blades RPG last week. It's pretty cool, related to Blades in the Dark, but some people don't like it as much. That sounds fun. I hope you enjoy that. I want
to play more random RPGs, like one shots.
By the way, we're going through some stuff that we've saved during the show. Obviously, this doesn't make it. I mean, some of it might make it into the podcast. We don't know, but we're going to also be rating into someone today. And because we're kind of new on CinemaSins' Twitch, we haven't built up like a big catalog of people. So if you guys know of somebody who's live on Twitch and doesn't mind like a small group of people hopping over to watch, I have my own personal Twitch where I've got people that are like, you know, maybe doing art or playing some video games. But if you guys have a suggestion, please put it in the chat because we're going to be rating in just a minute as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
JC says, now I want to play Star Trek D&D. Well, let me tell you about Ian's game that he created.
Yep. I did I did a D&D in space, but I didn't tell them they were in space until like they figure it out. They basically open up a window. No, they don't open a window.
Don't open a window in space. That's a bad idea.
A window and the horizon keeps on going. They think it's night, but it's not. They're in space. And it was, a lot of fun. And then I kind of moved them to my own version of Deep Space Nine, where there was an evil man controlling a space station that centered around a casino, which was super fun.
It was so fun. And I played a guest character who lived on that Deep Space Nine space station. And that was a lot of fun too. And it was very much like we've got to get to a ship and get out of here kind of moment. There were portals that were there, but Ian had to account for traveling through space rather than like just traveling on a cart from city to city, like old D&D style. So that was kind of fun.
It was super fun. Super fun. They killed a space whale.
Wait, isn't Ransom played by the husband of Number One from SNW?
Yep, so Jerry O'Connell voices Ransom, and in real life he is married to Rebecca Romijn, who plays Number One. So there is an in Star Trek husband-wife duo in in the cards, which is amazing.
Oh, that was fun. So what's Star Trek?
Next.
Okay. All right. Zinc says, stream the game. Is that for D&D? I think it's a D&D reference.
Let's do it.
So, yeah, guys, listen. We've had so many people want us to stream Dungeons and Dragons. It is probably one of the most requested things at this point in time. We would love to be able to do that. It would require a lot more than we can just guarantee, though. So even if we had channel points to do a Star Trek D&D one shot, like JCD is suggesting, and the other one, I don't remember who was it. Zinc who asked. It would require a great feat that we will continue to work towards. In fact, like Ian and Aaron and I testing playing Mario and doing like kind of these interchanging things. We're testing all that stuff to kind of hopefully work towards a D&D game eventually. Exactly. But streaming a D&D game is not something that you just jump in and do without making sure that everybody is ready. And only Ian and I play D&D on our team. So we're talking about a whole bunch of noobs. And that would be fun, but also like we kind of want to be careful too, because there's a lot of pressure. And when you play a public game, there are people who have a lot of opinions about that. And so I'm kind of a bit protective of that. So we might not be able to do like a full CinemaSins team D&D game for a while. Maybe we would do something like in private at like Sin Week or something where we can have fun and it's like a side quest. Like it's not one of the main event things. You can kind of come and enjoy them, fumbling their way through D&D. But I know that when I first played D&D, I really wanted it to be kind of a sacred thing. So who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But we do want to do it.
We really want to do it. We want to find a way to make it work, but we want it to be good as well. That's the main thing.
Hey, I'm glad you guys had fun. Thank you. It was a reference to the Star Trek PC game that Ian mentioned.
Oh, now that is easier to stream. I could definitely stream that if I can. I'm sure I can find it somewhere.
Ooh, that would be fun. Is it like a... Bye, Jagged. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah. Enjoy your day. We're winding down here. My sin for the episode is when Tendi comes back from the shower and is drying her hair. Sonic showers wouldn't get her hair wet.
Very true. The sonic waves just kind of like pulse the stuff off of you. However,
I'm sorry, sonic showers? What?
Showers? Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, that they happen. I
don't like that.
They look really cool.
Wouldn't that hurt your eardrums?
I think it's like inaudible sonic waves. I think it's beyond hearing. I don't know. There is a time where they malfunction and they just start screaming, and I was like, "What's wrong with the sonic showers?" It's great.
Like that's torture. Terrifying. That's awful.
Yeah, absolutely. My argument is maybe what? I'm
having a hard time. I didn't know that sonic showers were a thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely a thing. My response to that would be maybe because they're lower deckers, they don't have access to sonic showers. Maybe they have to have water because they don't get the special showers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's what I'm sticking to.
I mean, it makes sense. I think we're going to raid into Claire art today because she's painting today, and it'd be kind of a fun thing to send you guys over to watch Claire here in just a minute. We're not quite done with the comments that we missed during the show. We're going to keep going through, but stick around there. I think there's like a little bit of an ad, but she is painting and she's really talented, and I think her vibe is nice and chill. Something that you can put on the background and really enjoy.
Amazing.
When will Deneé ever have the naked time? Probably not naked now.
That is Slab being a massive nerd, which I love it. There is an episode called The Naked Time in the original series.
What?
Where everybody gets high off of this special water.
Stop it.
I'm not kidding. They go mental and Sulu gets topless and there's all kinds of crazy shit that happens. And they do it again in TNG with The Naked Now, which is the same water molecule, but it's changed a little bit. And everyone on the Enterprise gets drunk, including Data.
How does Data get drunk?
we kind of think he's pretending, but it actually affects him. It's very strange.
Okay.
It's very strange.
Also, I like Zink's mention, counterpoint, tendies in a towel. I thought that was great too.
I'm not going to disagree with that. Yeah,
it was great. This episode made me want to rewatch Prey. That's fun. This one was fun. This is when I was mentioning the heart and the shoulder, and Jagged says Justin now understands why Deneé points to her shoulder when she says "I love you." Yeah, you know what?
It's hard.
It seemed a bit more in the center.
Nope.
No. Okay. Nope. I was wrong.
Nope.
I didn't think it was a lesson so much as he was trying to get Mariner to screw up so he can get rid of her, says Jagged. That could be true. I'm really curious if he is kind of like that, if Handsome is that sort of darker leader, or if Mariner, if he's kind of trying to train Mariner. Because I haven't watched season 1 and 2.
I would love it if it turns out that he's been playing dumb and is actually smarter, but I don't see it. I think he's just dumb, but that would be pretty dark.
Well, guys, we will be live again on Monday at noon Central for our next episode of what are we doing here, Ian? Is this Star Trek?
What
is this? What is this? What are we doing? Let me just make sure. Hold on. Let's look at the Captain's Pod. Okay. Is that where we're at right now? That's Captain's Pod.
Yeah.
Join us for a raid over to say hi to Claire, please. We really want to make sure that we're enjoying the community on Twitch while we're here. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, though you cannot join us for the actual raid, thank you for being on YouTube with us today. Anything else, Ian, before we...
That's it. Okay. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Really, really enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.